So we are very excited to have our speaker series back again today and to have um, our audience with us, which is a really great group of people. Many of our audience members are people who regularly have joined the speaker series. This is organized along with Romana Lexenko, Olha Nikolska, and Jeff Glenn, who are all the co-organizers and are here today. We were just looking at the fact that we started doing the speaker series back in, I'll give the exact date, September 22nd of 2023. And it's of course awful that the war is still happening, but it's also wonderful that we're still able to do this speaker series, which I think we would be doing regardless of what was happening, even if the war was part of the impetus for starting this. We're really excited today to have with us two very interesting speakers who have agreed to share their time with us, which I appreciate because we were talking about how many Zoom meetings they've already had today. And so we really appreciate you getting on again for this. We have Roman Melnyk, who is an educator and an educational innovator, focuses on holistic education and technological education. He is the founder and the rector of Vinnytsia Technological University INTITA, and the founder of the educational institutions of the INTITA educational ecosystem, which includes an IT academy, an IT college, a drone department, a technological lyceum, an educational platform, a lot of really exciting things we'll get to talk about today. He also started initiated the Intellectual Capital Development League of Ukraine, INTITA League, which is a platform for interaction between education, business technology, and communities, which I'm also very excited to hear about, and is the initiator of creating a scientific and technological industrial park, INTITA City University. He's also a Rotary member. And earlier this year, or the end of last year, maybe, he met with one of the board members for the Vinnytsia Boulder Sister City Initiative, Mike Brady, who is also a Rotary member. We also have Ivan Vekirchyk here, who is a co-owner of the KNESS. Do you say KNESS? I should have asked this
KNESS.
beforehand. Okay. You say
Yeah.
NESS?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So the co-owner of NESS, the KNESS company, and he's responsible for founding an international group of companies founded in 2009 in Ukraine that focuses on renewable energy and especially solar generation projects. Their headquarters is located in Vinnytsia, where I already know from our conversation beforehand is where you're from. And they have representative offices also in Poland and Latvia, and he has very deep expertise and experience with design and development of innovative solutions in the renewable energy sector. So we will have lots of interesting things to talk about today and to hear about Vinnytsia Technological University. We start by asking all of our guests two questions that we sent you in advance, which is how are you doing and how do you define victory for Ukraine? And either of you can start.
Am I first?
Whoever would like to start.
The
How
Roman
are
will
you
start.
doing and how do you define victory for Ukraine?
Greetings to everyone. I think, like many Ukrainians, I've learned how to live into realities at once. On one level, there is constant uncertainty, loss, and responsibility. On another, there is a very clear sense of purpose. So how am I doing? I would say focused. Because this war forces you to become very honest. Very honest about what really matters. And for me, personally, victory is not about the territory. Of course, sovereignty matters, but deeper than that, victory is about preserving and developing Ukraine as a country of capable, thinking, and responsible people. As a country that can create its own solutions, its own technologies, and its own future. And if we win the war, when we win the war, uh, uh, but remain dependent, it's not a full victory. That's for me.
Yeah, I agree with Roman. It's quite an interesting situation. Nobody waited for so quick war. We always understood that it will happen earlier or later, but we thought it will happen later. And that showed that Ukrainians are very patriotic and flexible in decisions. It showed that we can do our future, we can fight for our future, we can lose our lives for our future. And that's why victory, of course, it will happen, first of all. And the second point, victory should be not only with, as Roman said, territories or something like that, or destroying our aggressor. It first of all goes with the state of the people, with the minds of the people, with our economy that should be strong, not to happen this again. So we have to work harder and harder to change lives of the Ukrainians, to change minds of Ukrainians, to give more possibilities, to make Ukraine one of the top countries in R&Ds in different fields. And because of war, we can see that we had a lot of experience in R&D and producing in military sector, but also war showed us how we depend from the energy, how we depend from the fossil fuels. And our company, the main idea since 2012, that we should have renewable generation. We mustn't have any monopoly. We must have diversification from energy sources. And because of the war, we can do it in the quickest way in the world. And we are successful enough on this way, including solar, wind, and battery energy storages. We are also changing our law for that. And I think this field will have the best expertise in the world in a half of a year. We already have one of the best expertise, but in a half of a year we can show this expertise to the world. We already have a lot of negotiations with foreign companies, and we have what to show to them. So we are strong. We will win.
Absolutely. Well said. And so for both of you, it sounds like in your answer to how you view victory for Ukraine, that that's connected to why you created, because you're both founders of Vinnytsia Technological University, to why you created the university But I wanted to ask you more about what inspired the creation of this as a university, the Vinnytsia Technological University. And I'll put the link in the chat again for those who have joined. Um, was this inspired by the war? Was this before the war? It sounds like you were already, of course, working on renewable energy and technological developments, but to create this university and to do it during wartime is part of what's really remarkable to me about what you've done. So I guess the question here is, why did you do this? But what inspired the creation of this university that you made?
Uh, okay. In a way, the war didn't create this idea. In our plans, it was before the war, and but these plans were for many tens of years, for many decades here, to develop this university. The war, the Russian aggression accelerated this idea and made it unavoidable. And it exposed a simple truth that the war is not only about the weapons, and it's about engineers, it's about systems, it's about decisions, and it's about speed of thinking. So I've realized that education is no longer a sector of Ukrainian economy. It's I look at it as it looks like a part of national security infrastructure, and I think countries that don't realize it will depend on countries who do. So the question wasn't should we build a university? It was what kind of system do we need to form people who can operate in this reality? And INTITA University isn't just a university. It's an ecosystem where education, technologies, business, and real world challenges are connected from the very beginning.
I love that you call it an ecosystem. I just think that's fantastic as a way to refer to the whole configuration of what you're doing. And you really seem to emphasize partnerships a lot. I mean, that actually seems like the central focus is partnerships and hands-on learning, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And Ivan, please.
Yeah, I can say from a side of the business, why we are involved in this university. First of all, not only business, but we are citizens of Ukraine, we are citizens of Vinnytsia. So a lot of factors involved on our decisions. First of all, we can see all around the world and as well as in Ukraine that children don't like to study, and this unlikely grows and grows. But if we add our old educational system, even old buildings, where when student comes there, they don't want to do anything, they're depressed. We can see that we should change the things. And we tried to do it with different existing universities, but their mindset was made 50 years ago, and a lot of things was very hard to push on. So we needed something new. We needed something where children will feel as they are needed, as they can develop their life. And of course, the most interesting thing when big companies cooperate with the university, can help university with some equipment, materials, and can show children where they will have a possibility to work, because we don't push them to work exactly at our company, but we can show them what they can do, what knowledges do they need. And they can see that one of the main things, it's their mind, that they can think out of the borders, that they have a critical mind, and among that, some specializations, some using of modern instruments like AI and so on. That's why we decided to join, and not just decided, we were really happy to join, because we saw that this project can change a lot of things in starting in our city and then in our country. And the other step, we saw that a lot of young people goes abroad to study at the universities in the Europe and the United States, and we want them to stay here, to give them all the possibilities to stay here. And we hope in 3 or 4 years from the Europe and from the United States, students will come to Vinnytsia. Yes, Roma?
It sounds like they probably will
Absolutely.
be. And there's a very big business and education component of partnership, a business partnership with educational institutions. Ivan, you have a business background, and Roman, you have more of an education background. Is that right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, because part of what I'm really interested in here is how did you do this during wartime? So, how did you get the resources to do this and buy-in? And if you look at your website, which everyone should go to the website, it's linked in the chat, you have a lot of partners that are involved in this. But this is a time when resources are also scarce. There's a war going on. There are a lot of other things that need attention. So I'm very curious in the practicality of how did you do this during this time period?
Maybe I will start from my side and then Roman will say, but everything goes from the trust. Everybody can see that we need changes. Everybody wants them changes. Everyone from the business ecosystems wants their children to study in a good system, university, college, and they couldn't find it. So we had something from the business, but how to realize it? And when Roman started, we saw his background. We know him as a person. We know that we can trust him. If he said it's possible, then it's possible, but it's possible when we all will join. So after not so many negotiations, we started together to work on this project, and many businesses feel the same, and they joined us from the very beginning. And to my mind, when other businesses so that big businesses join it and there will be a real result, it's not so hard to find new partners.
Roman, you look like you want to jump in.
Uh, I a bit disagree. It's quite hard. For more than yeah. By the way, we started. We established university on 19th of May last year, and to be frank, I almost every day I've got several meetings with owners, co-owners of businesses, NGOs, different communities mm, to motivate them, to explain what we are doing, and to involve them to our initiative.
So this is really a private initiative. You built trust with businesses and educational partners. Was the local government very involved, or the oblast level or Hermata level? Was there official support, or was this really a private initiative?
Um, the, this kind of project cannot be built by by several businesses, by one institution, by one person or several persons, and it was founded and it exists because different worlds started working together. Education, business, community too, and not in parallel, but on the same problems. And local government, local authorities are involved too, and their role is important, especially in creating openness for such an initiative. And but even more important is alignment. When this project is shows everybody the case when education stops being someone else's responsibility, and it becomes a shared one.
So
I can add,
oh, go ahead, please.
yeah, I can add that in Vinnytsia on municipal and regional level, we have very open persons. So they really lives with all their hearts with our city, with our region. So when they see any initiative that can change the life of the region or city for better, they always support it. That's why it was not a big problem to involve them in the creation of the university and its work. They are really happy, and we all understand that during the war the possibilities are very limited because everything goes to the partly to the war, another part to support existing lives in our region and city, but as much as they can, they help. And of course, first of all, it's this openness, this support, new connections worldwide, and it's really supportive.
I can only imagine trying to get that many people from that many different kinds of organizations to work together. So like herding cats kind of situation, but cats that trust each other, maybe. I don't know, to extend the metaphor. I'm really curious too about the kinds of students that you get, because it sounds like this was very demand driven. Businesses needed people that were well trained and working. And I know from looking on the website, Roman, you had it was a statement like Ukraine is an intellectual hub, or as an intellectual innovator. That was kind of the vision behind it. What kinds of students are you getting right now?
Uh, our students are very different, yeah. Yeah. But they share something important. They don't just want education. Um, um, they it looks like they want to be a part of something meaningful, and they uh, mm, they aren't excellent students, but they are motivated. They are very pragmatic, and uh, as we can observe, they are already thinking about their role in the country. Um, they are less interested in diplomas, and honestly, we are less interested in giving them. Uh,
That's not what I
they
expect to hear from a university. That is fascinating.
they are interested in impact. And our main goal is to form in them a readiness for responsibility and for action, not for discussion and for action.
And
Right.
to be leaders of the changes. It's quite interesting. I will try to explain what Roman said about diploma, because in Ukraine we have a lot of diplomas, but very few real specialists who want to work. That's why it's not so interesting in Ukraine to have this certificate paper. But everybody is looking for the leaders. Everybody is looking for the people who knows what they want to do, what they want to change, and what influence they will have on the life of Ukrainians. Start a new business, for example, new technologies that we will need working on R&D and creating something new. It's quite interesting. That's why all the students really want to be at the university. And I heard a lot of words from my friends whose children enter the university, that children wants to go to the university. That didn't happen for maybe 20 years in Ukraine.
That's interesting. So people were less interested in going to university for a long time. Now they're more interested again, but not in diplomas, but in training,
Yeah.
which makes sense given the you do a lot with drones, I know, and a lot with other technological aspects, not just drones, but do you is this a workforce where Ukraine is going to be exporting? It already is exporting drone technology, right?
Yeah.
And those advanced, I mean, that already is the reality. Um, and so these students are interested in being part of that innovation, right? The technological innovation and drone technology and other technologies.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so tell me, like, what's the students do very hands-on work. They do projects, right? So, what is there a most interesting student project that's happened?
Uh, uh, I'm more excited not about specific projects or specific educational programs, yeah, uh, but how they are connected to reality. And students are our students don't just learn some spheres or subjects or programs, they work inside the processes. And all education is built through real R&D and startup work from the beginning. We do it in the university inside our student incubator, startup or R&D incubator, integer lab. And they are involved in different projects, in drones, in software projects, in social projects. The main thing for me that they are inside the process, inside the projects, not observing it.
I like that way of putting it, that they're inside the process and inside the project, that they're actually doing. So it's not an abstract, you're being lectured at about how to do it. You're
Yeah.
actually doing it. We
And
have,
after that,
yeah.
they decide to do something interesting, like, for example, pairing a flying drone and a robot-dog together and work in pair.
They
Can you
already
do
done
that? Can you pair a
it.
flying drone with a robo dog? Is that the,
Already.
Yeah.
wow. How does that work? If you pair a flying drone with a robo dog?
Simply.
Flying drone shows the way, finding where to go, and robot-dog goes there and exchanging information. So it's quite interesting.
Wow. So we do have a question from the audience from Mark Dillon, who says, fascinating discussion. The thing about startups is they are not burdened by old bureaucracy, or to put it in a positive way, they can move more quickly to do something new and innovative. When you look around, are there models for what you're trying to do, or are you inventing as you go along?
Come on.
I didn't catch
Oh,
the
and if you
last.
look in the Q&A, you can see it there too. So I think what Mark is asking, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, is there a model for creating a university like this, or are you making up the process as you go? So are there models for this kind of wartime creation of a technological university, or are you inventing your own path as you go? Are you looking to other examples of projects like this?
Uh, there is sure we are looking at every model and all projects existing not only in Ukraine, in the world. And we try to combine, for example, MIT model with Harvard model. They are different. Yeah. Or, uh, and we are going our own path. Because there are many universities, not many, a few universities in Ukraine which are trying to relocate some models from USA or Europe. I think it will not work in Ukraine. And looking backwards to 15 years ago when I started with education, uh, I think we have already built and developed uh, a new model of education.
You are the model that other people
Yeah.
will follow. Do you
Yeah.
work much with other universities like Vinnytsia National Technical University, or Roman Alexenko was mentioning that Donetsk University has a hub, I think, in Vinnytsia now. Do you work much with other universities or no?
Uh, to be frank, not at the moment, but we actively looking for all kind of partnerships, uh, people, organizations, universities, but uh, but that's what's very important for me personally. Partnerships mean real outcomes in 3 or 4 months. Yeah,
Oh, 3 or 4 months.
yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow.
If
That's
you've got no
by
no
academic
result,
terms, that is like light speed.
if you've
So
got no result in 3 or 4 months,
then do
it's not
something
a
else.
partnership.
Yeah.
It's just discussion.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. And the 3 or 4, so two surprising things so far is that I'm exaggerating, but you don't care about diplomas or not as much, and you want results in 3 to 4 months,
We
which is
provide diplomas, but we don't care about them.
okay, okay. Um, and Evan, did you want to say something?
Yes, it's quite an interesting question, and I will start from the very beginning of the question about bureaucracy.
Oh.
Uh, we all know that bureaucracy has two sides. From one side, it stops innovations in quick way, but from the other side, it protects from the many risks. So now the model of the university is risky enough, but we have now such a times where then if we don't take these risks, we will have nothing. That's why this model is very interesting and we are ready to test it. And nowadays it shows that it can be very good and progressive.
It really is
So
a startup university in the sense
yeah,
of like tech startup university
yeah,
in that kind
yeah.
of model, but in a university format, which is fascinating to me. Um, do you have
And
international partners? I mean, you do have some international partners, I think.
Uh, we've got several international partners, but as I said, we're actively looking for. Uh, mm, uh, one of them is a Danish uh, company specialized in nanotechnologies, Atlantis 3D, and one of them is German university from Karlsruhe. We started. We launched our partnership months ago, and in 2 or 3 months we are waiting for a real outcome. uh, and mm, we are actively looking and holding negotiations with uh, other organizations and people too, who are ready to build uh, something real in education or in technology or in policy. Doesn't matter.
don't forget that the university is quite young.
Right,
So
less than a
all the
year.
connections just in the process of the establishment.
Right, right, absolutely. I know we should have, if we'd scheduled this, we could have done it on your 1 year anniversary in May, which is coming up.
Yeah.
There's a student that
You
has
are
a
welcome.
question. We'll have a celebration on Zoom again when you have your 1 year anniversary in about 2 weeks. Um, there's a student with a question who says, as a student in some interesting projects, I value how the things teach me the most when it turns into unplanned, unexpected surprises. Have any students shared the growth from surprises from the program? So have they learned it? You have very hands-on, project-based, what we call experiential learning or learning by doing often. Have any of, can you see students learning from the unexpected turns, from surprises, from things that fail, maybe?
it's permanent process. It's regular surprises, regular fails, and but as students work in study or work, I would say work inside the processes, they they see how decisions are made. They see how system fails. They see how collaborate, and they do many mistakes and many fails, but it's a part of process how they study, and it changes their thinking.
Yeah, it's a difference from the classic universities in Ukraine where you cannot fail. If you do something wrong, you have a bad attestation and so on and so on. But in this university, if you are interested in something and trying to get the result, you can have a lot of failures. And people around you, teachers and so on, will help you to go through that. Yeah.
The process itself provoke the fails.
I love that the process provokes failing in a positive way, like failing forward, and
Yeah.
failing forward to success, kind of thing is how I think about that. Douglas Gardner, who's been very involved with the Boulder Vinnytsia Sister City initiative, has a comment and says, "Great presentation and fascinating to hear your approach. Is there a degree for students completing the program?" I think that's yes. There is a degree. You do get a diploma, even though we were saying that's not the focus. And he says, CU Boulder, which is the University of Colorado in Boulder, has a major focus on turning academic research into practical products. I heartily agree with that as someone who works there. Maybe there could be an exchange of the secret sauce on both sides for best practices for success. Yes, that's my reaction
Yes.
to that. Yes, yes, there could be. I think that's a very, very, very true. Yes,
Yeah,
that
it's
we
really yes.
yeah, that there definitely could be exchanges about learning, and I think there's more demand for this from students around the world. But sometimes, as you've noted, academics and universities can be quite slow to adjust from one model that we've had for a long time based on diplomas and courses and course requirements, which can be useful. I see value in those too, given what I do. But that there's a demand for much more practical learning and hands-on learning and learning that's sometimes what we would call vocational education, but what you're doing is really beyond vocational education, right? Because you're not training for specific technical jobs. This is really technical knowledge applied, right?
Uh, we are it's in parallel. We are training for specific and every our students on every stage of education has to become a real specialist in concrete sphere. And so we have to include many fundamental subjects, courses, etc., because they they have to understand the nature of things around them, nature of projects, and fundamental knowledges give them it. So we don't exclude classical approach. We combine it, and it's necessary.
I will add just like a parallel. 30 years ago, when I had to enter the university, I asked my father where to go. I was good in programming. I knew a lot in economy, in math. And he said, just you should enter power energy faculty. And that time, power energy faculty was not so interesting. It was on the down step from everyone. I asked, why should I go? He said, first of all, power energy will live forever, and anything can happen in the world. You will always have money in your pocket, and you will always have a job. But it's not the most important thing. He says, when you will have a technical education, any field, financing, accounting, marketing, and so on, you can have 3 to 6 months courses and you will be best in it, having a mindset of from technical university. I didn't believe him, but it all became true. So that's why here we need people who will have some specialization, but they can learn any directions they will want and become best in this direction.
My takeaway from that is listen to your parents, but I replay this for my kids. So see, like it worked. It was good advice.
Eat porridge and listen to your mommy.
That's right. That's right. That's what I took from that. And I think, Jeff, you had a follow-up question that you wanted to ask.
Yeah, I was interested in coming back to the funding because and coming back to the students kind of reference. Like a startup in the United States has that kind of versatility and can move quickly and can also help kind of adjust based on what the needs that it sees are. And I'm kind of wondering, as you're establishing a relationship between partners in the U.S., if you've seen interest from like investment groups, or if there's any discussion with investment groups like angel investors. I don't know if you're familiar with that model, but it would seem to me that if you have students and faculty working on innovative approaches to technology, that in and of itself would probably create a lot of interest. And I'm wondering, and this was the other part of the question, is I don't know, even with my experience in Ukraine, if kind of similar groups exist within Ukraine or are emerging. So I was going to ask how the landscape in your US partnerships look, and then maybe what that looks like for Ukrainian investors.
Okay. As I said, thank you for the question. As I said, local government is involved in our project too. So we've got already a landscape near the Vinnytsia for and plan. It's 5 kilometers from Vinnytsia, and we plan to. Build our scientific industrial science technological industrial park, and actively looking for investors to because a large part of this park will be the campus of the university, and so we are actively looking for Ukrainian businesses, Ukrainian investors, and investors from abroad too.
And for them to become a part of the ecosystem of the university, it's quite interesting to have angels investors and so on from all around the world, because they have quite a bit different knowledges, quite a bit view on how life will goes on, what will happen soon, what will be the most needed technologies. and negotiation all this information, it's very impactful on the university.
May I add, because many investors and business angels get used to speed startups in technologies or other spheres, but we can show how it may be very fast in education. And I think we've got many cases, many knowledges to share with our partners.
Roman had a question about the students. If you still wanted to jump in, Roman.
Sure, but
Sorry?
I just noticed a question from Mark Dillon, about distance learning. And it says, is distance learning feasible in your programs? Would it be possible for foreign students to attend virtually or in person?
At the moment, we are focused on people, not on technologies. People the first. I see it's very popular in the world now. Technologies first, AI first, etc. But for us, in this case, people are first. So we now we've got in the university we've got only offline education, and we are doing everything to come Ukrainian youth from different parts of Ukraine. We've got students from Mykolaiv Oblast, from Zakarpattia, from Rivne, from Zaporizhia Oblast. They come here, live here, and study here, and involved in process to here, and have access to real businesses located in Vinnytsia too, and have access to real mentors, engineers, programmers, IT specialists alive too.
I think, to my mind, in few years, some parts of the programs will be available online. But the sense of the education at the university now is that students should understand what are they doing and for. And for example, if they are programming with AI some things, for example, for drones, they have to understand how drones work. They have to work with them with their hands, have an ability to repair, to change some spare parts, and so on, for their brains, AI brains, to be the most efficient. So that's why you need as programming that can be on a distance, but you have to feel it with your hands to understand how to do it in real life.
I will add a little. Online education is we are practicing at the moment from permanently, but it's a part of education.
It seems totally possible to me that when at some point people would be going and are, I mean, to some extent now going to Ukraine to learn how to do these things in person, especially with drone technology. Unfortunately, with other wars existing in the world, I won't get into. I am a political science professor, but I don't want to talk about politics right now. This seems very
Politics
much like,
is very important in technological university too.
yeah. Bob Knott has a question and says, this is clearly a technology university. However, are there some courses or learning units for organizational development, budgeting, finance, and human resources to support small agile production units, business administration, public administration type skills, can outside consultants or corporations aid such skill acquisition? And I see Ivan already nodding yes to this.
Yes.
Okay,
Everything
yes.
is included. Everything you read is included.
Wonderful. That is very exciting.
Because from our history, our universities have now prepared entrepreneurs, open-minded, risk-ready entrepreneurs. And this university tries to change this. It's very interesting to see how our children speaking on debate club. That is something new for Ukrainian universities, but it works. It's quite interesting. It shows how it can be, and we're really happy with it.
I wanted to ask about the Debatny Klub, the debate club that I saw, because I was on the debate team in college, and so I saw right away, I was like, that's what I would have gone and done. But what do they debate in debate club?
Um, uh, the main purpose of this not only to teach students to speak or argument their position. It's the main purposes for me is to connect them with real businesses, with real worlds, and main questions is those. It's about the senses the university lives in this carry in this world in Ukraine. So we prepare special questions, prepare special problems that are very actual for today, and that are I've forgotten. Respond for challenges we've got at the moment.
Real world challenges.
Real world
Sounds
challenges.
like
Yeah.
real world challenges. So we're getting to the end of the hour. So I do have an important final question, but Roman Alexenko, did you want to jump in before we end?
Sure. And if you have a quick answer, that would be great. And I'll try to be quick with my question. So as many know, as many of you know, as many of us know, Ukraine is facing a huge demographic crisis. Many youth have emigrated, and most of them are not coming back. I know the universities are competing for students, and I know many of them are facing the dilemma of restructuring their programs, or maybe changing something, or maybe introducing new ways of learning, including for those who go beyond the youth definition. Um, are you dealing with the similar issues? Do you have problems attracting students? I know these are several questions in one. And what's your maximum student capacity? And are you happy with it?
Sure, we've got the lack of many young people are moving abroad, and it's very difficult to show them that they can stay here in Ukraine, and then they can be safe, that can be successful in Ukraine. So, but for example, we've got with the very first admission of the university, we've got 5 students returned 17 years old, which lived in Poland, Germany, abroad, and come back to Ukraine especially to study in our university. And we are not it's not our KPI quantity here. We it's enough. For example, 100 students this year for us, and I'm sure we can guarantee that they most of them will become specialists, will change their thoughts about moving abroad if they've got all these thoughts, and we will lead them to real economy, to real companies, to real success here in Ukraine. So it's for us. It's not it's not such a big problem as for big university that they want thousands of students, because every student is very important for us, and we focused on path of every student and form his or her own path to professional realization.
I'm a big
If I was
fan of the
if I was clear.
smaller scale initiatives that are, I mean, I think it's all, we live in a world kind of obsessed with how many views and how many likes and sort of the scale of what, but it doesn't always have to be big scale, I think, to have a big impact. Not that that Vinnytsia Technological University in Tita isn't growing, it isn't affecting a lot of people, but I liked how you put that as
We are interested in scaling too, but
right,
for scaling for us is not size, it's impact. And impact make very small percent of people other are following.
right. Well said. Jeff has already noted in the chat that we need to schedule a follow-up with you later in the year because this is such a valuable model for other universities and for other initiatives. And so we are so grateful, given that you're at the end of a busy day and you've had so many meetings already, for you joining us today. Just one last question, if you have a moment, which is just, how can we best support you? How can we support Vinnytsia Technological University in Tita? What can we do?
Maybe the most important thing I wanted to say that we are not trying to reform education, or we are trying to design a system of intellectual capital development. Yeah? And in this system is learning is connected to real challenges. Thinking is more important than memorizing, and the responsibility is a part of a process. So we are looking for people, organizations, investors, which are doing, who are doing something real. In education, doesn't matter, in technology and policy, and we are ready to work with them, and we are ready for partnerships which shows outcomes, which produce outcomes, as I said, in 3-4 months, and every involvement, every participation, we are all open for them.
Thank
I
you.
can only add that, of course, soon university will need also mentors, from the abroad to show students new ways, because Ukrainian way, it's interesting, but it's Ukrainian. To have a comparison, to have ideas from the outside world, it should be very interesting. So a long-term partnership with any direction of the university developing, scaling, getting better, always interesting for the university.
Wonderful. Well, I think we have a good audience for that, because we have a very dedicated and a very well-connected audience. So a bit like what Roman was saying, with where the impact is big, even though we're not a huge group of people in this speaker series. That we have a dedicated group of people that keep coming back and listening about projects in civil society in Ukraine, who are also well connected. And then, so I would hope that all of them also would be helpful in making connections and finding partners. If you're okay with it, we'll post a recording of this session as well. We have several people who wanted to attend but couldn't at this time, so they would like to hear about this too. And we will absolutely try to have you back to the speaker. An hour was not long enough to learn about what you're doing. And so, Luja, дякую. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who joined today so much.